Hello and welcome to the Mariners Massive. This is Football Manager 2021 and this week the Mariners don't contest an A-League fixture. So there's no game to show you. We've got next week against Sydney FC, as you can see, some 9 days away. This is a good opportunity to have a look at some of the other screens in the Mariners Massive universe. Ones that we don't always have a quick look at. In terms of dynamics, this is always one that Football Manager fans enjoy. We have a hierarchy where Matt Simon and Mark Birighitti are our team leaders. And the little tickets next to their name, that is the captain's armband and the vice captain bestowed upon Mark Birighitti. Highly influential players, the likes of Urena and Bozanic, experienced players. Redmayne, who's just arrived, so good to see that he's settled in already. Daniel De Silva, Jack Clisby, George Niedermeyer, of course, of European experience, and Michael Janota. Rarely seen, as it happens, in a real-life environment. Down at the bottom of the ladder, the other players, these are the guys who are not influential at the minute. Most of them young lads or newcomers, to be honest, in the likes of Louis Fenton, Jankovic there as well. In terms of social groups, pretty much everybody is made up of the core social group except for Gianni Stensness, Louis Fenton and Josh Nisbet. This group is made up of mostly New Zealand players who are of similar ages, so a bit of an international flair with that one. Our tactics for this season have remained very, very consistent. This is the sort of makeup that we've gone with, a 4-2-3-1 with two inside forwards supporting a pressing forward, which doesn't really suit Matt Simon's style of play, but he scored 24 goals for us. So Charlie Ball certainly working out for the veteran striker. In defence, just one central defender and a ball-playing defender, so a bit of variation there. Full-backs very much on attack, simply because we've got a ball-winning midfielder on defend, a box-to-box midfielder beside him. In terms of tactical style, the mentality is positive. And the idea is that we're just going to move the ball around at pace and focus play down the two wings, as we suspect that we have good players out there. You know, the likes of Jack Clisby at left back can get a ball into the box. We've also got some very good attacking midfielders, likes of Urena and Daniel De Silva. In terms of the staff that we've brought in throughout the season, that's obviously put us right up there in terms of the highest average in the A-League. So of all clubs, we are there. So if the bar turns yellow, that means that we are top of the shop. As you can see, tactical, the best coaches in the league. And in recruitment, while we are best at judging player potential, we're not quite there in analysing data. So probably need a recruitment analyst just to join the team there. Along with a new scout. In fact, while we're here, I think this is probably a good time to start looking for some more players. We also don't have a head of youth development. I don't know how I've overlooked that throughout the season, but let's see if we can get some of these roles advertised, and then by the end of the season we hopefully will be top of the shop in every category. In terms of the jobs that are available at the minute, in the A-League, it's only the Sydney FC job. I have applied for it. I am the leading candidate, hoping to secure that, because I think, if I'm honest, Sky Blues are a better bet for the Championship than the Mariners. There's other jobs available in the leagues that I've loaded, the likes of the Indian National Football League and the Mexican First Division. Atlas available. They're quite a big club there. Javier Torrente, favourite for 2 jobs. Can only get 1 though, can't he? In terms of the other A-League managers, myself, I'm untouchable along with Carl Wirtz and Ufi Talai. However, the likes of Chris Taylor, Scott Miller, Patrick Van Dijk, they are very insecure. Now, it's interesting that those are new managers this season. So they've all taken over from somebody who has been sacked in recent weeks. Other news sees Phil Stubbins taking over at Western United. So he is another new boss. Just compare this list to the real life list of managers. So obviously there's no Carl Robinson there, no Patrick Kisnorbo, no Richard Garcia, no Mark Rudan, so no Craig Deans or anything like that. And in MacArthur, Ante Milicic has obviously taken the pink slip. So plenty of upheaval, more so I'd say than in real life. Our schedule looks overwhelmingly positive. However, if you look at our recent games, starting with the 2-0 loss to our rivals, Newcastle Jets, it's not been entirely brilliant for us. In those 6 or 7 games, we've lost 3, drawn 1 and won 3. So it's not the greatest record, considering that we went on a big run after losing to Melbourne City there at 4-2. Went on a big run of all wins with just a couple of draws peppered in there against the likes of MacArthur and Sydney FC. We are Premiership winners. We are, of course, if we look at our A-League, our competitions chart, we can see that we were expected to finish bottom of the league. However, we've pretty much been top ever since the first day. Yeah, we've pretty much been there right since the very beginning. Matt Simon, top goal scorer there for the club, 24 goals. We sit on 52 points, 8 clear of Wellington Phoenix, with only 2 or 3 games to go. For us, it's only 2, along with the Knicks as well. The likes of the Raw, Adelaide United, they've got 3 games to come, so they play this weekend and play catch-up. So at the end of this round of football that's coming up, all teams will sit on 24 points, and then there's just 2 rounds of football still to go here in the Mariners Massive. You can see that it's Brisbane Roar, Melbourne City, Wanderers, MacArthur, Adelaide, Newcastle, Western, Perth. So all teams with 23 games played before the following week. It's the likes of Perth, Wanderers, Victory and Adelaide. That original rivalry clash on a Friday night. That is football at its finest. In terms of the players that we've brought in this season, we have been active in the transfer market. So defence was identified as an issue very early on. Ruan Tongic and Kai Rolls doing a fantastic job in real life. Not so much here in Football Manager 2021, especially Kai Rolls. So he was replaced effectively by George Niedermeyer. Rolls still very much part of the squad. But the German defender who last season was with Melbourne Victory, didn't really pull up many trees, does have some decent stats, even if this season they have been a little bit on the wane, as he's a star player past his best really, but he is contracted till the end of next season. So we offered him a 2-year deal, which he will be 36 by the end of next season. Still well in his prime for a central defender. Nothing to worry about that. Some good stats there in terms of, look at bravery, determination. 14 for heading, marking 15, tackling 15. I think perhaps Football Manager has been a little bit kind to the big German. Has made 14 appearances for us this season. As you can see, last year with Melbourne Victory, played 19 games. Prior to that, he was in Germany with Freiburg and Stuttgart, which is of course the destination this off-season to come of Alu Kuol. Prior to that, he was at FC Bayern. Didn't make an appearance in the first team, but several for the reserves. Lewis Fenton was released by Wellington Phoenix, despite playing a few games for them. Despite playing 11 games, 2 as a starter, 9 off the bench. He's then come to us. He's played 5 from the beginning and 1 substitute appearance. Kind of filled a bit of a gap for us. It was at a time when Jack Clisby was down with an injury and didn't really have the confidence in the likes of Lewis Miller, our reserve. So the idea was to move over Stefan Negro to cover at left back. Fenton came in on the right, did a good job for us. Absolutely no problems with him whatsoever. I think he's actually in real life quite a tidy player. But as the season has gone on, he's then just regressed back to that substitutes role as Clisby has come back to full fitness. Done a good job for us though. No complaints there whatsoever. Andrew Redmayne is our backup goalkeeper. So we let Andrew Pearce go. I think that's his name, earlier in the season, wasn't really ever going to get near the first team. Redmayne had been released by Sydney FC, despite, it has to be said, playing 19 games for them. 18 games, and 3 in Europe as well. But they let him go in order to sign the likes of Daniel Lopar, a former Western Sydney Wanderers player. So we snapped him up. Didn't do that well in his first game for us. That was the 4-0 loss to Western United, in which he conceded a couple of goals that he should not have really conceded, especially with reflexes of 16. I mean, he should really have done a lot better. But he's come in. It's good to have his experience, good to have somebody that we can turn to should Mark Birighitti ever be sent off or go down with an injury. In terms of release players, we want to let 2 go. Adam Pearce is available should anybody want him. Sorry, Adam Pearce, not Andrew Pearce. And Bilal Belkaldi is now a player with Sydney Olympic FC. So he was released right early on, so in January he was let go. This is the list of staff that have come in, as you can see, quite a big amount, starting with myself and then Big John Aloisi, the second appointment made, bringing in an assistant manager in December. So we have also concentrated on our youth team, bringing in several down there right at the bottom of the chart there, including Brian McBride, a former international player, of course, 95 caps for the US men's national team, a former Fulham player, certainly one that has been there and done it in his career. Also played for the likes of Everton and, up here in Lancashire, a loan spell with Preston North End. Absolutely good to see. Columbus Crew player. We also have Florin Radachoy. He is a former West Ham favourite from back in the day, 96-97. He was there with the Hammers. Travelled around quite a lot. You can obviously see France, Italy, Spain. Had a spell with Milan there and Dinamo Bucharest in Romania. So very well travelled. Of course, another international player of some notoriety. 40 caps and 21 goals to his name for Romania. So I have to say, like to surround myself with a few international caps. Of course, Big John Aloisi, no stranger to that himself. 55 caps with 27 goals to his name for the Socceroos, former Brisbane Roar manager. I think it's a little bit more common in Australia, I would say, for an assistant manager to be a former manager. You know, if you look at the likes of JP Di Marini, currently with Melbourne Victory. So he was at the Wanderers last season before Carl Robinson was parachuted in as the boss and then has taken on a role as assistant. Same with Big John Aloisi here in the Mariners' massive universe as well. In terms of the club itself, you can see there's been a stark decline, from the heady days there in 11-12 when the club were first in the regular season. We have bucked that trend when we've taken the club back up right to the top, where we have won the Premiership. The vision is always interesting to see, just to see what the board are thinking at the moment. They're delighted to have won the A-League, the regular season. Pleased with the 4-2 win over Melbourne Victory and the 1-0 success against our F3 rivals, Newcastle Jets. Still upset about the Mariners' loss to the Jets, 2-0, and 3-2 defeat to Western Sydney Wanderers. It seems as though they haven't quite realised that we lost 4-0 to Western United just a week or so ago. In terms of the club ongoing 5-year plan, the owner, Mike Charlesworth, still looking to sell the club. We recently had a transfer embargo while discussions were held, and you can see there, bottom right of the screen, Mike Charlesworth is looking to leave the club as soon as possible. Financial, we are relatively healthy. I would say, compared to certainly how we started, which was down here very much in the red at minus 1.37 million, we have diligently, in terms of keeping towards the wage budget, which we are narrowly above at the moment, but 550k at the end of this month projected. That is certainly not anything to shirk or turn your nose at. Last but not least, Alan Stadjic is our Director of Football, the former Mariners boss. Doesn't have too many great candidates down there. In fact, it's players from the first team that are currently plying their trade there. However, the likes of Dan Hall, who has played for the real life Central Coast Mariners first team, is right in there, as the likes of Jaden Casella, Matthew Hatch, Lewis Curry and Lewis Miller, all part of that. Jordan Smiley as well, but not doing so well in the Mariners Massive. We do have plenty of staff for the youths as well. That was one place where we did bolster everything there. You can see exactly how good they are with all those yellow bars. We do need, however, some more youth staff. Is that what we're at? The NPL staff. Sorry, we do have a manager there, but we don't quite have all the coaching positions filled out. One last thing, just have a quick look at our team report just for the season so far. We can see here there's always plenty to look at and lots of weaknesses as well, which sort of suggests to me that there is still a way to go. Our transfers for next season is just something to have a quick scan over. If I look at future transfers, so we've signed Ulysses Davila from Wellington Phoenix along with Cameron Devlin. Steven Ugarkovic, also a midfielder. So the idea with Ugarkovic Devlin is just to bolster that sort of holding role. Gianni Stensness hasn't really pulled up many trees there this season. Josh Nisbet, not actually that impressive in Football Manager. Bozanic really has been holding it down pretty much on his own. So the idea is just to get Ugarkovic and Devlin in. That's going to create some competition in that area. Davila further forward as an attacking midfielder. Curtis Good, just to help us out, shore up our central defence, which still remains an issue. And then Christian Theoharis is coming back to the A-League from Borussia Mönchengladbach, detailed as a useful sign, 21 years old. So again, he'll play attacking midfield for us. Prior to this, there you can see Bentley Greens and then the Melbourne Victory, where he made 18 appearances in 17-18. Since then, has very much been over in Germany with the Mönchengladbach second side, made some appearances and one substitute appearance for Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga. So there you have it. In terms of our inbox, we've got our staff listed. Now, the elephant in the room, of course, is that I have applied for the Sydney FC job. And that is basically, I don't think the Mariners are going to win the championship. I think the strong sides that we come up against in a one-off game will be a little bit tough to break down. So I am thinking about jumping ship. If I am offered the job, I'll certainly be going for it over with the Sky Blues. Tune in for Rundown on Thursday, as we'll find out all about the results and everything else that's happening with the A-League clubs in the A-League FM21 Rundown. So I'll see you on Sunday. Join me for that here on YouTube.